I'm going to start here with a story that 2 years ago I walked into my heart doctor for an appointment that I thought was going to go this way. I thought they were going to tell me, look, your clots are cleared out, you're good to go, we're going to take you off the blood thinner. Yes, you're cleared to go back to boxing, live your life as you were. Boom. Because I was born with this congenital heart defect, and it hadn't affected me and up until like around 2019, 2020 when I got those clots. So I was a boxer, and I loved that. And so I thought, going into this appointment, that's what I was going to hear. And at that appointment, about 2 years ago, I was not told that. In fact, it was the kind of the opposite of that. I was told, you're going to stay on Eliquis for life, the blood thinner, for life, and heart failure is inevitable. Also, liver failure is inevitable. Essentially, they told me by the age of 40, I might be looking to be on a transplant list for both. And that was a fundamental switch for me. That moment, leaving that heart doctor, when she laid all that on me, and she was like, look, you're of the age now, I can tell you're going to the heart doctor appointments by yourself, you're a grown man, you need to hear this stuff, this is the truth of what you have. Like, oh, such a heavy thing. And, I appreciate her doing that, of course, but regardless, it was heavy, and I took it hard. And especially when it comes to boxing. And this is kind of the lesson I wanted to hopefully bring to you guys, and hopefully encourage you all with. Even if you're not struggling with anything medical, I think this can be applied to anything. This is just about the way beliefs and our identity get wrapped up into our behaviors, right? So I took this information in, like, you're never going to box again. And I really started to believe internally, you're not a boxer. Like, you're never going to be a boxer. And so I went from thinking that about myself, I'm this boxer, to now you're never going to be able to box. And I turned away from the sport. I stopped going to the gym, South Park Boxing, that I loved, and that was like, a second church for me. I stopped going. I stopped boxing on my own. I would sometimes shadow box. I would sometimes hit the bag down here. And that's it. That was it. Because I fundamentally believed about myself, no, you're not a boxer. And that's never going to happen. I find this interesting. And I want us to all ask ourselves, I want to question myself, what other beliefs do I have? How am I defining myself and saying you are this or you are not this? And how is that affecting my behaviors? Because I didn't realize until today, going to the appointment and just thinking about all this, how much I let her words bring that out of me, bring me away from something I loved. Just because, I can't get in the ring and spar and go be a contender or something, that doesn't mean I can't act as if. I can't go to the gym, I can't train like a boxer, right? There's nothing keeping me from that other than my mind. Same thing with, I'm a writer, and a lot of writers, it's like, they don't even want to call themselves writers because they haven't published anything. But if you're putting words on the page, you're a writer, and start telling yourself you're a writer, because it is what we tell ourselves. It's the stories, the narratives, the beliefs, the identities that we have. That's really gonna impact how you act. And so yeah, I hope that wasn't too rambly. My mind always just turns to mush after I have a heart doctor's appointment. I have so many, thoughts flooding in and smashing into one another. So I hope this was coherent. What I'm trying to get at is that I almost allowed this diagnosis and this circumstance to define me and tell me what I could do with the sport of boxing. And I almost could have went my whole life leaving behind that old friend. And now I'm realizing I'm not going to do that. I'm going to act as if I'm going to do every single thing that I can in boxing. Push it to the absolute limit where I'm not hurting myself, but going back to that sport, going back to the gym, training, being in that community, being in that world, and fully boxing again. I'm going to do that because that's who I want to be. Tell yourself who you want to be and then do what you must.